What's up, everybody? Welcome back to IGN Live at San Diego Comic-Con 2014, brought to you by Lucy and the Evil Within. Guess what, everybody? Batman's 75 years old, and we're going to celebrate him right now with Joshua, Jim, Dan. Hey, guys.
How you doing? Hey, how you doing, man?
Now, Joshua, when you created Batman,
I thought a ninja, a playboy, and a detective. Now that's a
mash
character.
him up. That's what you need. Bake that cake. Dan, how crazy is it that it's the 75th anniversary of Batman?
You know, this is pretty amazing for us. I mean, everybody's asked me, why am I wearing my Superman hat today? So,
well, because he's the best, that's why.
Whoa, hey.
We had Superman's 75th anniversary last year, but what's happening with Batman is actually surpassing even that. I mean, the level of excitement, the level of interest, and actually just how wide we've been able to spread has been absolutely amazing. Yes, what was it? It seems like yesterday. Wednesday was Batman Day. And not only did it take place in San Diego, but across specialty stores across America and even around the world. And for us, it just shows you the reach and depth and breadth of Batman's legacy with the people everywhere.
Yeah. Now, Jim, you work closely with Batman.
I have worked intimately with Batman.
You draw him quite often.
Yeah, and I heard is this true? You've done sketches and left them around the
convention
center?
Yeah.
Ladies' rooms.
Right.
So,
that way if you get busted,
I did that. I actually left one in the ladies' room. I had my wife put it in there.
Sure you did.
Years ago.
Sure you
and,
did.
And literally the guys and women rushed in there and they tore the place apart. And there's a picture of just all the sanitary, I don't know, the little seat covers.
Right.
They're all over the place. And I said, I can't do this to the fans. So I'm trying to do it in areas that are safer.
Yeah.
So last night, actually, when we were leaving the convention hall, I had a sketch of Lois Lane. And I was in a crowd of people kind of leaving the con, and I basically saw a girl with her bag that was slightly open. I just kind of slipped it right in, took a picture of her, put it online, and hoped that maybe she was into comics, because you never know, right?
Yeah.
And then, several hours later, there was a tweet from the person that she was excited. She
And
got
she was
home,
mugged.
opened up her bag.
She was mugged.
And yeah, exactly. And it was a little creepy, but honestly,
Dear Jim, you are the nicest creeper I've ever met.
Right. My phone number's on there. Yes.
Not too long ago, Jim,
Yes.
we went through and we ranked all the Batman artists.
Yes.
You're number one.
Thank you very much.
Dan,
Yeah, I saw
you didn't
that.
make the cut. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Right.
When you started drawing Batman, like when you actually,
Back in 1939.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's what I'm saying. When you came
Yes.
onto the project with this already established character, what was that like to sit down and actually draw somebody this iconic?
Yeah, I think you have to take a deep breath first, because you're basically doing something that all the fans are going to be watching.
Yeah.
I'm the most important character out there. But at the same time, you have to realize, look, everyone before you was just adding stuff. They were making stuff up. You got to have that fearlessness towards the character.
Sure.
You can't go like, oh, he's been around for 70 plus years, I can't mess with it. Because if you do that, you're not going to have Bane. You're not going to have cool new Batmobiles. You're not going to have short ears, long capes, all that kind of stuff. And so the stuff that we all like. And so in a way, I think it's important for every artist who takes on Batman to really define it for his generation of readers.
Sure.
And then what you'll see is that you have multi-generation of fans that basically go, no, that's my favorite Batman. And you have that incredible discussion of who did the best take on the character. And you don't necessarily have that with a lot of other famous characters in other mythologies or other companies.
Sure. So then how do you feel right now when people see the Batman versus Superman suit and they're like, oh, it's totally Jim Lee's Batman?
I'll tell you, I'm very flattered, but honestly, I was aping Frank Miller, who I think was getting it from Dick Sprang, so it's Dick Sprang's Batman.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're out there waving that flag.
Sure, absolutely. Dick Sprang started it, yes.
So then, Dan, I mean, coming into the 75th anniversary of Batman at this Comic-Con, like, how do you even start to frame that narrative to talk to people about what's next for the Dark Knight?
Well, it's interesting because everybody always asks you, you look at the 75 years as a total, how does this character have such longevity, such staying power? Yeah. And if you see, and we always say Batman is probably the most flexible, pliable character that we have. At the core of his origin is something that everyone can relate to. It's a child who lost his parents, something that everybody feels. That's a timeless story. And then if you look at Batman through the decades, you start Batman first, he has that film noir feel in the 30s and 40s. You go into the 50s, it takes on that sci-fi, space race feel. You go into the 60s, you first get the campiness of what's going on there, then the social relevance into the 70s. And Batman changes with the times and adapts with the characters. And I think there's something so relatable about who he is at the core, and that you can change all the environments, have so many great interpretations and looks of the character through all these decades and still be true to who he is.
Yeah, and for Batman is a great place right now in the comic books, doing some great stories, and he's being drawn by Greg Capullo. Yeah. And Batman is one part of DC's Trinity, and you also have two other huge artists. You have John Romita Jr. on Superman. You have David Finch on Wonder Woman, recently announced. Everyone's very excied for that. Where was this your vision?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I always say, the DC line works best when its core characters are at its strongest. You know, we could put out 100 books a month or whatever, but if the Superman book, the Batman book, and the Wonder Woman book are not working, the line feels out of whack. So the main goal is to put the best teams possible on each of those books, and I feel that with these guys on the monthly books, you're going to have strong interpretations of the characters month in and month out that I think really helps solidify the line and draws people's attention to DC Comics.
Yeah, you've also launched some new Batman books. We have Arkham Manor.
Yes.
And we also have Gotham Academy.
Yes,
Do you guys want to talk about those?
Yeah. Gotham Academy. You know, Becky Cloonan, fantastic creator.
Tremendous
artist.
talent.
Yes,
Love her.
Tremendous talent. And so I think she was the first female artist to actually take on Batman when she did a story a while ago. It's great to have different voices come on to Batman, do different directions with the mythology. It's actually one of our strongest families. You know, if you look at all the secondary or supporting cast from Batgirl to Robin to Nightwing, and then you look at the Rose Gallery, best casted characters bar none. And so there's a lot of room to actually do a lot of different takes on Batman, from, you know, the Batman 1966 show, that campiness, to something that's much darker like The Killing Joke or Arkham Asylum. And so it's great to have different voices come on and, again, bring something new to the table.
Yeah, and you know, you're doing Superman Unchained as well right now, which is a great book. But I find what's so funny in that there was this is a bit of a spoiler, I guess, but there was this great Batman moment where he calls all the Batmobiles at the same time, and all the classic ones that come down and hit the villain in the face at the same time. And so he sort of stole the spotlight in Superman's book.
Sure. No, that's the artist's bane. Is you know, a writer can write all the Batmobiles come descending down on the villain, and it takes them like 5 seconds to write that. It takes me several days. So you know, just pulling the research together. I had to go online. Thank God for the internet. I basically printed out all these different versions of the Batmobile, and then try to incorporate as many as possible and do it in a way like, how would you stack them in your cave, and so I kind of organize them vertically so they can all kind of come rushing out at once. But that was a lot of fun to do, and I thank Scott Snyder for that brilliant moment.
It was instant classic Batman moment.
Yes,
Dan, you're writing a book too, Infinity Man and the Forever People, right? Wait, so whose is better?
That's the fourth part of this Trinity plus one.
Exactly. I had to make sure Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Infinity Man are the big hits.
The invite, Trinity plus one. Yes.
You know what? I just love working with Keith Giffen, and you know, we're always looking for projects to do together. And my interests are always lean to more of the eclectic characters. Had a chance to do OMAC, Phantom Stranger, and now Infinity Man. I think that's what's fun about DC Comics. You know, as much as we sit here and talk about Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, Justice League, Teen Titans, great iconic things. We see them in film, television, everywhere. But I think we have to pull back every second and look at all the fun stuff that fills the borders of DC, and that brings so much diversity to our line, and so many different types of ideas, and so many different types of creators and stories. And that's what's great about comics. If you look at comics today, you know, between all the companies out there right now, there's about 400 comics coming out on a monthly basis at this particular moment in time. I don't know how the retailers decide what to choose, but we, as leaders in the industry, have to find ways to keep ourselves fresh, relevant, and the only way we can do that is to make sure our top characters are in the best shape possible, and that we take all these chances with our other books on the lower portion of the line. That's why Gotham Academy is so important, and in some ways, Infinity Man.
Now, speaking of relevant, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking your Facebook questions with the hashtag IGN Live. Nick says, hey Jim, will Dark Knight Boy Wonder ever be completed? Really want to see how it ends.
Yes, I hope so. I mean, I did a panel with Frank yesterday, and we regularly meet with him. And you know, our interest is finishing that storyline. You know, he's got a fantastic story. I've actually started the second half of it already. He's got 2 scripts done, and so after Superman is Unchained, I haven't announced what the next thing is, but
you want to do it here right now?
I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Jim, why do you always do this to us?
So close,
yeah,
guys.
we almost had him.
Yeah.
Because I was just putting it on my schedule.
Sure. But there's an amazing shot, if you like big panoramic shots, there's a shot of the Batwing going through Gotham City's, I think 4 or 5 pages, a pull out, just like what we did in the first half. Some amazing stuff that Frank's called out, and you know, he knows the character so well. So I know a lot of fans want to see that story come to an end or completed, and I'm one of those fans.
And honestly, Jim and I and DC Comics are dedicated to make sure Frank Miller does more work at DC.
Sure.
Rad.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent.
This has been fantastic. Do you guys want to do it again in 75 years? That sounds all right?
Well, next year is Robin's 75th, Joker's 75th, Shazam's 75th, Teen Titans 50th, so we'll be talking a lot
Wonder
with you
Woman's
guys.
75th.
Wonderful.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
Except
We'll
for
see
you,
in 1 year on IGN Live for the Wonder Woman 75th. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for everything awesome from San Diego Comic-Con, keep it right here on IGN. We're not going anywhere, but we are going to go to these messages. But you stay there.